Hi, I'm Jack. Saw you wore the Immortals glyph. Figured I'd introduce myself.
You're the new recruit. I'm the Viscount Hauserel, Lord of Sevenridge and Eye of Lavenry. Sorry I missed your induction ceremony, Jack.
On a mission, your lordship?
Sure. And please, just Hauser. Fewer words benefit us all. Honestly, I didn't think anyone would pass selection this time around. No one has in years. So I dallied. Apologies again, I should have been here for you.
No worries. So, what was the mission?
I'm a hexbrand, Jack. Do you know what that is?
Oh, an assassin.
Yes. You can figure out the mission from there.
I didn't think the Immortals had assassins.
Understandable. It's not really tip of the spear now, is it? The Immortals are more than that, it's just Kirkin's favorite way of selling it.
Does she give you a target list? Writs? Devin said writs once.
Call them sanctions. Their approval is a nebulous mix of Lavenry, the Grand Magnus, Circumstance, and myself. Are you interested in taking one on?
Wait, we can do that? How?
The Order of Masks have a group of Magni called the Six that range far from Rashan. Lucian needs them dead. If you want the sanction, it's yours. That's how we do it.
Being a Viscount, that means you have a claim to the throne, right?
I'm 15th in line and never getting closer. Realistically, you have as much claim as I do.
Uh-huh, sure. What's it like being part of a dynastic house?
It's bad for one's health.
Come on.
Oh, I'm serious. Why else would so many of us train as assassins? There's the ever-war between kingdoms, and then there's the little war known in every court in Aveum. They're the same except for scale. Magni obsessed with fighting other Magni for the rule of magic. I have to watch my back on two fronts.
I didn't see you at Nocia when we confronted Sandrak. Were you there?
Answered your own question there, no?
I mean, maybe that was the point. You not being seen. Like you were covering us or something.
Considering what happened, perhaps I should have been. But no, I was away taking care of a few things. An ambassador of Kylay caught wind of the meeting in Nicaea. Thought they would show up with a delegation to show their support for Lucium's surrender.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
Funny that.
What's the deal with you and Kirkin? She literally doesn't talk about you. Like, she doesn't even really consider you part of the Order.
I'm sure that sometimes she wishes I wasn't. I'm an Eye of Lavenry as well as an Immortal. She may think the real reason for my being at the Palathon is to keep tabs on her.
But she had to approve you joining us. I don't get it.
Marcello the Lesser, Albus the False Ionetian, the Lord's Grux, the Wax Witch of Deladel. All of them were Kirkin's enemies, here and abroad.
Operative word being were.
Now you understand how I got her endorsement. I'm a useful tool to her, Jack. You should only read Kirkin's silence as a shield of plausible deniability. If we're not seen talking, no one can prove she gave the kill order.
Talk to you later, Hauser.
Welcome back, sir. They're waiting for you in the war chamber.
This is insane. The surface of Eastern Orman is an endless desert. We'll never find the Shrine Forge this way.
I'll switch back to the islands just above the Tempest Lair.
The conquering hero returns.
Hey, hero. See if you can make out anything but sand.
Really with this? Already?
Why are we looking at sand?
Thaddeus gave me the history of Sandrak's Binding Stone. As you say, sir, it's some real end-of-time shit. The Aristea couldn't survive it, so our chances are on the wrong side of 0. Before he died, Thaddeus told me that the shrine forge used to create this binding stone was...
Under all that sand.
Maybe. He didn't specify whether it was on the surface, which is completely blasted by magical fallout, or the islands above, which stretch out forever west.
Wait a second. Did you say Thaddeus died?
Yeah, the Hand of Sandrak was following me. Had a team of Nightblades with her, and...
What matters now is that we have a location for a location. And that's better than yesterday. We find this shrine forge, we're one step closer to finding some weakness in Sandrak's hold over the binding stone.
I'll break out our scrying records on Rasharnian troop movements in Orman within the last year.
You know, they say one after effect of being inside a massive volcano is dehydration.
I'm just tired.
Get some rest. Narrowing down this search to anything actionable is likely to take all night.
I might have an idea on how to shorten that.
This was extraordinary work, Initiate.
Thank you, sir.
Jack, hold up! Zendara's right. You do the Immortals proud, my friend. And it's great to see you back in one piece after that whole adventure.
Thanks, Dev. It's good to see you too.
Just now, when you were telling us about Thaddeus, I noticed something might have been distracting you.
Really? Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean.
Your face at one point, it was like you'd seen a ghost. Forgive me for...
I saw someone I used to know, and she's in trouble. Look, this isn't the place, but I'll fill you in when I can.
What kind of trouble?
This is not the place.
Oh, right. Right you are.
And, keep it to yourself, okay?
Why would you even have to ask that?
You can't be serious.
Point? I promise to keep it to myself. Also, I'm so very sorry if I embarrassed you in front of your Elori friend. Is friend the right word? I know I embarrassed myself.
His name's Rook. But one thing at a time, Devin. I gotta head out.
The Grand Magnus is right. You should get some rest. We can handle things from here.
I haven't forgotten. I still owe you a conversation about Sandrak having been an immortal. But finding the Shrine Forge is priority 1 right now.
You heard the Grand Magnus. Return to quarters, get some rest.
Luna's alive. What am I supposed to do with that?
You look like you could use some sleep, sir.
Ambassador Damley,
Hello, Jack.
you're here because of the king's absence. I don't understand.
Sandrak's siege of the capital. It's worsened. The Lightless don't know how bad it is. Kirken's even been given emergency powers by the crown.
The Palathon's the acting capital of Lucium? That means Lavenry's nearly fallen. She never bothered to tell me.
The North will soon be lost to us, Jack. The king's in hiding. I'm surprised you weren't informed, with you being one of Kirken's closest confidants. Curious.
So what does the royal advisor do with the Palathon exactly?
On paper, I'm here to uphold the interests of the royal family and counsel the Grand Magnus on the Immortals' role in the Everwar.
I hear a but in there.
But since Kirkin has enough authority in Lucium now to ignore me, I just skulk about, raiding the Palathon's wine collection and writing spicy letters of fabricated intrigue to the court back home.
I don't buy it.
You caught me. Since the Grand Magnus refuses to let me in, I must resort to simply spying on all of you. I'll be very discreet.
How widely known is it that Sandrak was an immortal?
Too widely for the Crown's liking. Still, given his record and years of service to Lucium, it's hard to hide it without resorting to somewhat amoral magic.
I spent 5 years in the Lights Army with Kirkin as my mentor, and I had no idea.
Losing him was a blow. He was a hero to Lucium. Rasham's strongest son, fighting against the corruption of his homeland. Many thought he would win us this war.
Until he became the war. So why did he quit and rejoin Rasharn?
Only one person in the Palathon knows that, and I can guarantee you she won't tell.
I hear Kirkin's the only one keeping us from surrendering to Rasharn.
You wound me, Jack. Who do you think convinced the king to speak with her in the first place? After Nocia, confidence in the Palathon's ability to wage this war...
Got shaken a bit?
It cratered.
Ouch.
Kirkin and I have our differences, but we both agree that it's crucial for the king to have faith in a Lucian victory. Ask Kalthis what Sandrak's peace looks like.
How well did you know Kirkin's predecessor, Thaddeus?
Not at all. His tenure was a long time ago. By all accounts, the Palathon and Lavenry enjoyed a less contentious relationship then. Grand Magnus Thaddeus was very popular in the capital.
Really?
His resignation from the Immortals was a bit of a scandal for reasons I'm not privy to. Naming Kirkin as his replacement caused a few raised eyebrows as well, but the royal family traditionally avoids interfering with the hierarchy of your order.
I have to go, Ambassador. How are you even alive?
Story for another day.
It's the Mind Walk, isn't it? The spell went crazy, and now you and I can do this.
I think so.
How much can you see?
Nothing really. I see you, and the rest is just colors that can't hold their shape. I can only hear you too. Don't worry, I can't spy on you or sneak into your war room.
No, it's not that. I kinda just wanted you to see this room. The one they gave me, it's crazy awesome. Super big.
When you look glum like that, it reminds me of when the Upbridge gang stole your shoes.
Don't bring up Saren. Not like that.
Tell me, have you ever seen the color Salamine? It only exists in Rashan. It's one of the first things I noticed when they took me here.
Just stop, Luna. Rasharn doesn't have its own colors.
But it really does. Come visit me. You'll see.
How can you even ask me that?
Because I miss my best friend. I want you to see what I've done here, who I am now. I have that farm I always used to talk about. Can you believe it?
Rasharn almost killed you, Luna. I thought they did. For years. I thought you were dead.
It's like when you nap too long out in the sun. When you open your eyes, everything's kind of blue, but all mixed in. Imagine that, and put a pearl inside. That's what the color Salamine looks like. You don't get it, do you, Jack? All you are is angry. I'm trying my best not to get angry. Angry that the next time we see each other, one of us is going to kill the other. I just wanted us to talk and forget about that for a minute or two.
Luna, wait! Hello?
Rise and shine, friend. Kirkin needs everyone in the war chamber.
Did we find the Shrine Forge?
We might be close. I brought in a specialist to help crack the case.
A specialist in Shrine Forges?
No. In Orman.
Are they named Kenzie?
Up and at 'em, sleepyhead!
I was just taking Kenzie here to meet Zendara. I predict they'll get along famously, don't you?
Wait, not yet. Wait for me.
Can you believe it? The anarchist has set aside her disgust of military institutions long enough to help us out.
Oh, no. There's still plenty of disgust.
Would you two cut it out? They're waiting for us.
Now, Kenzie, I appreciate our verbal fencing about the rabble's pillow-fisted outrage against the gentry, but the very large one there, she's actual royalty, so maybe not so much.
Maybe none.
Look, I'm here because I want the Rasharnians out of my home, not to make nice with some princess that thinks... Oh, my.
I see. So it's all eat the rich until someone gets the vapors.
Welcome to the Palathon, Kenzie of the Sky Tribes of Oramin. The Kingdom of Lucium is grateful for any help that you can give us.
You bet. Are you scrying the entirety of Oramin at the same time? You'd need hundreds of scrying constructs to pull this off.
Thousands.
No wonder the rest of the kingdoms think Lucians are always lurking in the shadows. The amount of border alliance and factions here is... even for wartime.
Yep, it really is an impressive feat of modern arcano-engineering, but moving right along?
You mispronounced invasive.
When's the last time Orman even pretended to be at wartime?
You're looking at her.
It's okay, Zendara. Kenzie's right. I'll submit a formal apology to Oramin's High Council the next time they convene, at Nosea.
In case you hadn't heard, Sandrak destroyed Nosea, so she's being...
I heard.
Oh, so you did catch the shade. Very good.
You're looking in the Tempest Layer? That's the wrong place. Those islands are the newer ones. You gotta look underneath, where the first islands were dislodged.
We checked. There are no Aristean ruins on the surface of those.
Who said anything about the surface? The Aristea love an underground temple.
Flip it.
You're shitting me.
See? I did have a good idea. Bringing her in, I mean.
Ley lines are too unstable in that storm. And they will have powered down their portals. There's only one way we say hello.
Get prepped for a combat drop.
You heard the Grand Magnus. Grab your gear and head to the airship docks.
I'll tell Captain Selko it's go time, and to have his lance of strikers ready.
So, what should I do?
Shall we save you a seat on the assault craft?
No, still not my war.
There's a very nice gift shop on level 10.
Nope. Level 10 disappeared again. It keeps overlapping with that northeastern change wind from Myopole. Takes a vacation whenever it does.
Well, that's too bad. You could have gotten your own Immortals replica badge, Kenzie.
Hold up! Iopole the moon? Iopole?
Our stewards are looking into it.
Hey, going with?
Yeah, I'll pass. The ooh-rah stuff is all you guys.
We don't say that. You know, come to think of it, we don't have an official battle cry.
It eats at you, doesn't it?
I do really kind of want to yell something now and then, if I'm being honest. So, what are you gonna do?
Oh, I don't know. Stick around a bit and take a tour of the place. Uncover some more proof of Lucian meddling in other kingdoms' state secrets, that kind of thing. I'll see if maybe your boss lady will show me what other fun, off-the-books magical surveillance doodads you guys use to keep us safe without consent.
I won't.
Sigh. Okay, sport. Get what's storming the Shrine Forge.
Go time, huh?
Indeed. Just drafting a letter to my brother before we leave. One that suggests that we're really very absolutely confident about ending Rasharn's reign of terror at any moment now. I don't know if I could say that with a straight face on a Farcall.
You should feel confident. The Shrine Forge? It means we're finally on our way to closing the gap with Sandrak.
You're right, of course. And I forgot how long writing letters actually takes me anyway. I have to go back and cross out all the adverbs and exotic punctuation. My dead father thought an over-reliance on adverbs would be the death of language one day. And there was no greater hate in his heart than what he reserved for semicolons. I feel him staring at me even now, judging my every turn of phrase, my love of the M-dash. Maybe I should just call my brother from the assault craft and avoid the punishment.
You're just nervous about the combat drop.
You've got a keen eye, my friend.
Sir, if you want to talk about Thaddeus at some point, I'll be there.
Noted.
Just putting it out there. Losing people is...
The dead can wait. Now go meet up with Captain Selko. You'll be closing in on the Shrine Forge within the hour. Get me a way to destroy that binding stone, soldier. It's time we turn this around.
You got it. Any pointers on a combat drop, sir?
Didn't you do simulations in War College?
I didn't, go to... See, I was more of a lucked into the whole war kind of guy.
Then hope the luck holds. It'll be a long way down.
Gotta find Soko. Orphe?
Candle.
I've been meaning to ask you about your mask.
It has nothing to do with Rasharn's Order of Masks. They are little more than a broken cult, playing with trinkets and damnation.
Oh, whoa, I totally wasn't gonna make that connection.
The Yakel settled along the western rain valleys long ago. This was before the Gaterond, the cataclysm that claimed them all, except for me.
Hold up, I think you might have skipped ahead.
Oh, we were talking about our tally mask? It shifts through all the faces of my people, each and every one. You're unable to see it, of course. We were the only Yakala to survive. So we wear the rest of their faces in memory.
Then it's like the wall of names, your mask. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
It's only a mask, Candle. We could never get upset. Sadly, we could not. The Thradakul is an Aristean art.
Wait, did you just read my mind?
We can't do that. Such magic was outlawed at Atheron.
Okay, but then how did you...
Oh, of course. You're just catching up to the discussion you started. As we were saying, Nosia's fate was hidden from us, as was Sandrak's breach of the War Chamber. The Thradakul is an Aristean artifact. Those always put tiny perforations in time. Look too close to pasts or futures in their proximity. Pages get torn away.
Huh. Maybe that's how it lay hidden for so long. Seers can't see it clearly.
Nor scrying glass. Sometimes, however, holes in time have movements. Context. Tilt your eyes and predictions can occur. That's how a lot of our counterintelligence is done against enemies using chronoflage. It's unfortunate that no such methods would have worked at Nosia.
Orphe, you're gonna love this one. Turns out Aristea, the Eternal Empire, they only lasted 2 years.
In a particular version of Aveum. That's true.
I so knew you'd say something like that. The truth is really a time-fuckety thing, isn't it?
We're rubbing off on you. The truth is that their empire's communion with the Fonts awakened a kind of inhuman consciousness in and between the magic of Aveum itself. The Fonts had previously operated independently, but now they were sending messages back and forth through the minds of the Aristea. And they were so delighted to know loneliness no longer that they created the Untime.
Untime?
The Pentadi called it the Stillness. Civilizations can flourish in it if they can figure out a way to keep hold of causality in a space that has no meaning of the word. They never do. Aristea has always been forever and yet less than 1,000 days. How's that for time fuckety, my little candle?
Good chat, Orphe. Ambassador Demily?
Hello, Jack.
I have to go, Ambassador. Your Lordship.
Jack?
Talk to you later, Hauser. Captain, is our airship ready for launch to Orman?
Just give the word, sir. Her hull's warded against the worst the Tempest layer can throw at us. We'll swing you in for a clean drop to the Shrine Forge.
I need to take care of something first. Captain, is our airship ready for launch to Orman?
Just give the word, sir.
No time to lose. Let's go.
Signals up! Let's move!
recognize this place. Thaddeus showed it to me. There's gotta be some kind of Threadicol-making machine thing here.
Probably inside. And this machine will show us a weakness to the Binding Stone?
In theory.
So we don't know what to do once we're inside.
I figured we'd improvise.
You mean you would improvise? That entrance is blocked by a Triarch ward. You're the only one going in.
Lucky I'm here, sir.
I'll get the portals powered back up for a return trip.
Figure out how to destroy the Binding Stone, and let's get out of here.
Hello. This room looks important. Your hair is staying. I've never been here. Yeah, you're talking about someone else. You're mistaking me for a guy named Sandrak, which frankly feels a little creepy. But anyway, I want to destroy the Binding Stone. You're not listening. I don't have a Binding Stone. Or a mark. I can't surrender what I don't have. I already told you, I'm not... Wait. You can give me the same mark as Sandra. Control it, or destroy it.
You've already figured out the solution, Jack. We win.
You don't win in ever war! If he found a way to use the Binding Stone, so can we.
Its mastery over the fonts means I can end the war.
Then I choose to end the war. Give me the mark to control the Binding Stone. I think I broke it. Great. No take-backs, I guess. So that's what disobeying orders feels like. Not so good.
figure it out?
Please say yes.
Yeah, we're good to go. With this, I can destroy the Binding Stone. We just have to get close enough to Sandrak.
How do you propose we do that when we don't even know where he is?
This mark gives me a connection to the Binding Stone. I can feel where it is. I can feel where Sandrak is. He's moving east, towards the Deepmere.
There's a font in the ocean.
Sounds like it. All right, pack it in. We're leaving soon.
What's the play, sir?
Devin and I will stay here at the Shrine Forge for a bit. See if we can find anything else of interest.
And rig it to blow when the Rashanians return.
You need to get back to the Palathon and brief Kirkin. She'll figure out our next steps. But when you use that mark to destroy the Binding Stone, I want to be there. I want to see Sandrak's face when you just crumble it in his hand. There's no way he'll see it coming. Right. Getting ahead of myself. That'll be all, Initiate. Now head back to the Palathon. I told you to head back to the Palathon.
Impressive place, huh?
It really is. The Aristeia were exceptional builders. How do you think Sandrak found out about it?
Probably dumb luck. Selko mentioned Rashanian airships started taking new routes into Lucium.
When parts of the Orman border collapsed, right. So, they discover this Shrine Forge...
And Sandrak's able to use his new mark to detect the location of the Binding Stone.
in Ilthium.
Yep. No wonder it seemed like Sandrak was overextending himself there. He was. Desperate to find that temple.
Doesn't seem fair. Accidentally finding a doomsday weapon. Hard work should go into something like that.
All right. I better go.
Oh, don't forget to say hello and goodbye to Kenzie for me when you return to the Palathon.
Will do. Great call getting her to come in. We wouldn't be here without her help. Sir, I'm back at the Palathon.
Well done, soldier. Meet me in the vault. We can finally have that conversation that I've been trying to avoid.
Your lordship.
Jack?
So are you a spy of the king? That's what eyes are, right?
Yes. And I'm one of his personal killers at discretion, which isn't the same as my role as a hexbrand, but the differences are so labyrinthine that I preemptively bored myself trying to explain them. At its simplest, one is killing for the crown's interests, the other for magic's.
Magic has interests?
It has colors, shapes, and expressions. Why not? Magic defines its own tenets, and all of it is a system that the Magni have agreed to work within. Hexbrands make sure derivations of that system are at a minimum.
Sandrak.
Well, it's so easy. He's practically covered in writs. But he's also guarded by the most exceptional hexbrand of them all. The Hand. Getting past her is difficult.
Talk to you later, Hauser. Magister?
Friend!
So how often do you try out for selection?
As seldom as I'm able without bending Light's army regulations. Don't mistake me. I'm a talented Magnus and fierce patriot, but I'm fortunate enough to be able to contribute to the war effort without.
Without actually serving.
Now, I am required to serve during second summer, unless I talk to the right people. I can't get around that.
You literally just said you can get around it.
Please don't think less of me, my friend. I would defend Lucium to the last. And when I do walk the path, I give it my all. For about 5 minutes. And then a spike impales me, or a spectral nightblade shoots me through the eye. We can't all be you, Jack.
House Belming. That's a military house, right? Sounds familiar.
More military adjacent. I'm in the Hinters business.
The what now?
The Hinters? Apologies. That's a fancy euphemism for fertility fields. My house holds the contracts to construct and maintain all the Hinters for the northeasterly estates of Lucium. The military is our primary customer, of course.
Okay. Act like I'm from Saren and try one more time.
Hinters are stretches of land constructed beneath ley line crossings. The great families use them to influence their offspring's chances of being born with magic, which in turn guarantees that they remain the great families.
So you're telling me that being born with magic is manufactured?
Of course it is. Well, not always. And there are the unforeseen, such as yourself. There's a chance for everyone.
You must want to be an immortal or you wouldn't keep fake dying. But why do you want to be one?
Tut. Nothing about the dying feels fake. It's a psychological horror show. Feeling the pain of your flesh burning off while also being slightly annoyed with yourself as it happens. Ugh, the dissonance of those moments. It scars the psyche, Jack. I do not recommend.
Which means you have a really good reason for wanting the job.
Of course I do. I want to serve Lucium.
Nope, not that one.
One mustn't equivocate, I see. Fine. I reckon it's expected of me, right? Despite the family business and all its wealth, I'm still a scion of a line of Magni, and share the name of a great house. We're not allowed to avoid the order, or we risk bringing shame to our forebears.
I went to the Underdwell in Calthus. Have you ever run into the Allori where you're from?
I've had to run the beasts off from my Hinterfields a few times. They scurry out of their holes some nights to sun themselves beneath the ley line nexuses. A bad analogy, as I say it. They feed on magic, you see.
Oh, I know.
We have had to use our lightless soldiers to chase them away. Our Magni refuse to get near the creatures. Dreadful things, evil. I take it you met a few?
Yeah, their leader, I think. He was cranky, maybe a little violent, but not evil.
Are you sure he was an Allori? That doesn't sound right at all. Maybe he was full. Either way, you're lucky to have come out of there alive.
When's your next go around at selection?
Next year, assuming Rashan doesn't... Well, I mustn't be defeatist.
You know you don't have to be an immortal to join the Light's army. I mean, a Magnus of your stature would get fast-tracked to officer.
Enlist? I do more for Lucium keeping its magical bloodlines healthy than I would fumbling about as a soldier, my friend.
What do you think the Immortals are? We're soldiers.
Not all. You have intelligence officers that rarely see the field, and you used to have a wealth of non-combatant roles. The Immortals were a massive organization once upon a time, and its soldiers were but a small part. Your order knew better days before Sandrak's ascent. It's a tragedy to see it so reduced.
All right, Belming. I should go. Sir?
Back here, Jack. Here. This dossier is for you. My report of Sandrak's time as an immortal. Some details remain classified. I'm sure you understand.
I was hoping for more than a summary. You know, for us to talk about it.
It will have to do. I don't like to talk about Sandrak, because I don't like remembering him as a friend. We fought alongside each other for 30 years, Jack. I depended on him, would have given my life for his. And all of that is gone. It does me no good to relive it. To let it in, I might also invite a mercy where I can have none. Come, show me the mark you recovered from the Shrine Forge.
Sure.
It lets you feel the movements of the Binding Stone?
Yeah. Sandrak's definitely sailing the deep mirror, but his movements are weird. Erratic.
Unfortunately, we can't afford to send a large force out to sea. Most of the Light's army musters at the front, and we need them to remain there. You, Zendara, and Devon will have to face Sandrak alone. Well, not exactly alone. My contacts in the Clayless Traders Guild provided us with a colossal during the Trenchship Rebellion. I never gave it back. It'll take time to wake her up. She's not seen service in a very long time. Captain Selko's a fine steersman, if I recall correctly.
And I can guide him to wherever Sandrak is using my mark.
That's the plan. Now, unless you have something else to ask me, that'll be all.
You've been hiding anything and everything about Sandrak being an immortal since day one. I deserve more than a report you wrote up.
Tell me, Jack, if you had a very close friend that you shared a common cause with for the longest time, a vision of what was right and true and good, and they betrayed that vision, betrayed you, how would you feel? Would you want to talk about it? Could you talk about it?
Yes, absolutely. I'd have to know how it even got to that point.
Sandrak and I were companion in arms for longer than you've been alive. We stood against the Kalthus Estates, the Sea King usurper, the Colossals of the Arjaman Pretenders, even against Rasharn, his homeland. And then one day, he refused to participate in a mission that could have very well ended the war.
What mission?
Read the report.
And we're back to that.
Look, what's important is that Sandrak had orders, and he allowed his own hubris to ignore them. He made a decision that jeopardized the rest of us because he thought he knew better.
Yeah. Hubris sure is some bad news. It's terrible.
For the breaking of his oaths to the Order, I exiled him back to Rasharn as punishment, thinking his ancestral enemies there would be the death of him.
That last part didn't work out.
Not even a little bit.
All right. I've got everything I need, sir.
Zendara and Devon should have already returned by now. You'll all set out for the Deep Mere in the morning. Oh, one more thing. The Oromik girl, Kenzie, she wanted to speak to you when you returned from the Shrine Forge. I think she's a bit smitten with you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's limited to just me, sir.